In the third episode, we learned that the bodies of the main characters have special abilities. However, Jax's special ability remained a mystery. Why does Jax hide what happens to his body when he holds his breath? I think I found the answers to what happens when Jax holds his breath and why he hides it from the rest of us. In this video, I'll tell you about the hidden abilities of all the main characters and Jax's biggest secret. I want to start by breaking down Jax's big secret in episode 3. All the main characters know what starts to happen to their bodies when they hold their breath. Pomni's head starts changing colors. Kinger's starts to glow. Ragatha's hair rises in a column. Gangle's mask begins to spin. Zubal's limbs straighten. Only Jax keeps his ability a secret. There is one interesting detail in this scene. Zubal assumed that Jax is hiding his specialness because it will seem funny and embarrassing to everyone. In Zubal's opinion, Jax is cowardly because of this. In this scene, Jax suggested that Pomni try harder and showed interest in what her digital body could do. The show doesn't usually draw our attention to this, but the digital bodies of the main characters give each of them many interesting and unique abilities beyond those activated by holding your breath. You all know that the characters don't need sleep, food, or air. It is also safe to say that the digital bodies of the main characters are invulnerable to any physical impact. Characters may feel pain, but they are incapable of injury. There are only two real dangers to the people in Digital Circus: glitches and abstraction. In episode 3, we saw that Kinger can detach his eyes from his body and throw them away. In doing so, the discarded eye remains fully functional and Kinger can see everything in the distance through it. Also, Kinger's arms are not attached to his body, nor are his eyes. Kinger's arms can be pulled very far away from his body and reach anywhere. The scene in which Kinger saved Pomni from being controlled by evil spirits showed us this power. Ragatha's body is raggy, so it's pretty easy to puncture it and leave a hole in it. That said, Ragatha doesn't feel any pain at all. We saw this in the second episode in the truck battle scene. I have a little theory on the subject. It might have to do with Ragatha's psychological trauma. Ragatha is always overly worried about others. She always tries to be polite and positive. Ragatha takes responsibility for everything bad that happens to the other main characters, even though it is not her fault at all. She forbids herself all expressions of negative emotions. Thus, Ragatha does not express painful feelings either, but she can experience them to the fullest extent. This behavior can be bad for Ragatha's psychological balance in a high-stress situation. I think that in the 5th episode, which will be dedicated to Ragatha, she will finally give vent to her feelings, and we will find out what is behind her smile. Gangle's body at first glance looks very fragile and vulnerable. Her mask of joy is easy to break, and her ribbons are easy to grab and unwind. If Gangle's ribbons had the same strength as their counterparts in the real world, it would be as easy as possible to rip them. But we've never once seen Gangle ribbons tear. They may unravel, but they don't collapse. Besides, there's a thought that's been bugging me. We've seen Gangle's mask of joy shatter many times, but we've never seen the mask of sadness get damaged. This suggests that the sadness mask is invulnerable to any damage. In Gangle's room, we can only see the joy mask cracked. Perhaps Gangle only has one sadness mask, and it is impossible to remove it. Zubal's main feature is that all her body parts are able to detach. But you might not have noticed Zubal's hidden power that is related to this. At the beginning of the second episode, you can realize that Zubal retains control over any disconnected body part. When Jax rips Zubal's arm off and decides to use it, Zubal regains control of her limb and takes Jax by the throat. Pomni's power is that her body is as if made of rubber. In the pilot, Pomni would grab her eye with her hand and pull it out of orbit as she tried to take off her VR headset. In the second episode, Pomni was able to hold onto trucks that were a considerable distance away from each other without damaging her body. It was almost as if Pomni felt pain while doing so. But I think the reason for the pain is because Pomni continues to see her body as human. It would be incredibly painful for a normal person to pull a stunt like that, but in the digital circus, anything is possible. In the third episode, Pomni's eyes fall out of their orbits and continue to act like they're made of rubber. At the beginning of the third episode, Jax showed considerable interest in the rubbery abilities of Pomni's body. I think that in future episodes, Pomni will learn to control the stretching of his body. As you may have noticed, we know about the unique abilities of every character except Jax. It seems to me that Jax is keeping his body's powers a secret. Either Jax doesn't have special powers like the other characters. Because of this, he is secretly jealous of them, and so he constantly bullies them. I'm sure that this mystery will definitely be solved in the 6th episode, which will be dedicated to Jax. Recently, there have been a lot of different theories about what exactly happens to Jax when he holds his breath. I want to tell you about a few of the versions that seem most likely to me. The first theory is based on Jax being a rabbit. It consists in the fact that Jax's fur becomes very thick and soft, which makes Jax start to look cute. This seems odd to me, because every character's body has properties that relate to the objects from reality that the character's digital body design is based on. Jax definitely doesn't want all the main characters trying to pet him, so he hides that fact. The second option is that we've actually already been shown what secret powers Jax has. I have a theory that Jax can run at tremendous speeds, or even teleport. Remember the scene from the pilot where Jax, Pomni, and Ratha walked into Kaufmo's room and saw him abstracted? Jax took his bowling ball and just vanished. Perhaps at this point Jax held his breath and became super fast because of it. This ability is very useful, but Jax uses it discreetly and only as a last resort. He decided to keep his strongest ability secret from the others. Under the previous videos, you wrote a huge number of comments with your theories about what happens to Jax during breath holding. I'd like to break down some of them. The most popular was a comment from user Cole Campbell. He suggested that there is likely something simple and silly behind Jax's secret rather than deep. The subscriber believes that Jax's head inflates and Jax starts to fly like a balloon when he holds his breath. This ability is supposed to look very funny, so Jax doesn't want anyone to see it. Another Sarah L. Aura subscriber wrote that Jax turns into something related to milk when he holds his breath. According to this theory, Kane is the only one who knows about Jax's secret. This theory explains why Kane called the characters My Little Milk Furs when they returned from their adventure. In that case, it seems logical that Jax got angry and told Kane not to call them that anymore. The theory that Jax's fur gets covered in milk when he holds his breath seems likely to me. A rather interesting theory written by subscriber Michael Kieran wrote another theory that answers our question from a very different angle. According to the subscriber's theory, Jax begins to abstract when he holds his breath. This theory is more logical than it seems at first glance. In the pilot, we clearly saw that Jax is really only afraid of abstraction. In episode 3, we saw in the example of Kinger's wife that abstracted characters don't lose their minds completely. So we can assume that this process can actually be stopped at a certain stage and reversed. But Jax is very afraid of abstraction, so he doesn't show his dark secret to anyone. What are your thoughts on this? Does Jax get cute when he holds his breath? Or can Jax abstract himself? Write your thoughts and theories in the comments, and I'll be sure to read them. The best comments will make it into the new videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Good luck everyone, and bye-bye.